There's a lot of reasons. One huge one for me is as an adjunct, I am only here 2 days a week. I'm teaching at my other school the other 2 days a week, so I'm not here available to the students, whereas the SI is. I can give the example of Juan from my 250 class in the fall who, he made an effort to be on campus every day and tell the students each week. He put his schedule on the board each week. This is when I'm going to be in the Writing Center. This is when you can catch me here. These are the breaks that I have. And he had students coming to him daily.
And Andrew would be like, okay, if anyone wants to stay and get more help, I'm here till this time. And people would stay, of course, and they would just get all the help that they needed. And of course, he would give us his phone number, email, and we could call him anytime. If he wasn't busy, he wouldn't respond, but he would get at you. He would call you as soon as he could and help you out.
And that's a huge thing. The other thing is that the SIs are often a lot more approachable because they're students as well. The other students aren't afraid of them. I mean, I don't think I'm that scary, but apparently I am. And they just come right, they will go to the SI before they'll come to me.
I know in the beginning of class, we were very intimidated. I know I was, and then one of my teammates who also is in this class was very intimidated by our teacher. And coming into talking to Daniel and coming to the meetings, it was like more reassuring.
Students are really terrified of the professors, and I know that because I've been terrified of my professors too. So it's just like not having that other person you can go to when you need help. That would really affect them. And also, most of the students that I have worked with, they're all ESL learners. So that even makes them more terrified to go up to a professor because they're embarrassed of their accent, they're embarrassed of how they talk, they're embarrassed that they don't know much, and that's where really the SI steps in. And you build a connection with them, and they're more comfortable with you, they're more comfortable going to you, asking you for help.
Initially, I don't think that my students find me approachable. I think they're really intimidated by me in the beginning because I'm an instructor, and I think a lot of them have been taught that distance between student and professor, student and teacher. And Daniel sort of bridges that gap.
I feel like I'm kind of the bridge that connects them to Tiffany, because at first meeting her, I know as a student she's kind of intimidating. She has really high credentials and she really knows what she's talking about. And it's kind of alarming to not know exactly everything she knows. It's kind of like a shock, but when the students come to class and they see me sitting with her, it's kind of like oh, well, he's a student just like me. And I actually tend to lighten up the mood of the class by just asking questions, and even if I know the answers to the questions, just to get the conversation going.
Because I was just kind of like nervous, like going to the teacher and be like, oh, is this right? He was a student, and I just felt more comfortable going to the student too. Like, and me and him kind of related. We liked kind of the same things. Like, we like cars, and like there's kind of like a friendship too, So I just felt more comfortable going with the SI.
I guess he's kind of one of our peers, so he understands where we're coming from, but he's also working alongside with our teacher. So I definitely feel like he gets both sides of it, and he makes the connection a lot better.
This kind of cultural barrier that happens, and I don't think that the instructors, it's not something you do on purpose. It just kind of is something that happens socially. So what the SIs do is they create this beautiful pathway to communication between a student and an instructor, and many of these students leave Gavilan or these classes and go on to the next segment of those classes feeling a lot more confident, not only in their skills but in how they can communicate with an instructor. They don't have to feel so intimidated by asking a question about an assignment.
When we are working with students, as students, we build a connection almost as friends, and for students, I have noticed that it's difficult for them to approach the teacher because they see her as a higher rank, and students do come up to me and ask me questions before they approach her.
I was kind of embarrassed to ask the teacher, so how do I, a thesis was a thesis, I forgot how to quote, I completely forgot everything. And Anna, just for some reason I can just connect with her, just because she's not a teacher, and SI leaders, they know how to get you comfortable and get you out of your shell.
I think it's better that he's in the classroom because when he's hearing what the students hear, he's there when I give the assignment. He hears what I want. I meet with Daniel separate. I always meet with my SI separately to go over the assignments with them in elaborate detail so that they know exactly what I want, what I'm looking for. He is able to then give his help, and he's not spending time, okay, break down the assignment and tell me what the instructor said in class. And I think with just a tutoring session, a lot of that time is spent trying to get the tutor to understand the assignment, but a lot of them are going there because they themselves don't understand the assignment. And I think it's really hard for the tutors to try to understand the assignment when they aren't in class, they don't know the instructor, they don't have any of this background information. And I still think that they can do, you know, a decent job helping the students, absolutely. I just think that it's better if I think that the SI program is a better alternative.
It's better in a way that the students that the SI actually knows the subject of what the teacher is teaching, because when the drop-ins come in, the student explains to you their assignment, but the teacher doesn't explain to you the assignment. So you would just go off what the student's saying, but then again, what if the student got the assignment a different way and interpreted it a different way? So now we're just working towards that assignment the way the student said, but it's completely off topic of what the teacher actually said.
Bond, I guess, because like you see her, like from my experience, like I see her every day there, so, and she knows exactly what the teacher's asking. And so like if you just like, I have come here for actually like separate, but they tell me something, but then I mean it's right how they said it, but it's not exactly how the teacher wants it.
For the SIs, not only do they know you personally, but they know the class. They've been through the class, like they're trained on it. So they know exactly what you're looking for, you know, each assignment, like what you need to know, what to help you with.
I think it's more than just helping students figure out how to read and write. It's really like assimilating them to the college community. And I've honestly have met a lot of friends just through the SI program. We still keep in touch, and they hit me up for essay help and, hey, how do I go over this prompt? And even though it's quick, a minute or two, and it makes all the difference.
I grew up in the foster care system, so I didn't have, you know, the parents or the type of people in my life to help me through schooling, and so schooling has been, you know, difficult for me throughout my entire life. And coming into college, I didn't have a lot of structure and stability or with schooling, and it's just like having peers and tutors to help you through like schooling, it's made it so much easier, and it's made me feel like, wow, like I can actually do this. And so being that person for other students, it's knowing that I'm helping them, knowing that they're not quitting, is just, you know, it's an amazing feeling. I can't even. So coming through a background like that, most of the time you move a bunch of schools. You have so much going on in your personal life that you can't focus in schools. And a lot of teachers have so many students that they can't connect with each and every single one of them. And that really affects that bond between students and teachers, because not having that personal connection, like the students can feel unwanted sometimes. The students can't reach out to the teachers. And having a peer tutor like myself or any of the other ones, like we've been through what they're going through. We're going through the steps and emotions of school. We're going through the personal issues that they're going through. And so we can relate to them on a personal level. We can relate to them on an academic level. And just us being there for them, knowing that there's someone like them, you know, that really helps them to strive and do better in school, I believe.
I have a couple of students who only take classes in Morgan Hill because they can walk, and they don't come to main campus. And there is a tutor over there, but they're not a trained person in the Writing Center, which is unfortunate. But and I can give you a perfect example of how vital that is. I had 4 students from my 1A class, or from my 250 class from fall, come to my 1A class, 4 young women who relied very, very heavily on my SI from fall. He had a core group of the more mature students who were terrified, and it was their first experience in college, and they didn't know how to college. So he worked very closely with them, and when they got to my 1A class, they're like, what do you mean you don't have an SI? Where's Juan? And I said, well, Juan couldn't come because of his class schedule, and nobody else could either, so it's just you and me. We can do this. And 3 of them, about 3 weeks in, walked up to me and said, I'm sorry, I have to drop the class. I can't do this without the help.
students from Hollister, Morgan Hill, they're going to have to drive onto the Gavilan campus to get help, and that's really not going to be an option. I mean, they're not going to want to do that, so they're just going to give up.
I was this close to giving up. Like, I don't want to sound dramatic, but I was this close to it because, you know, you have personal life problems and then you come to school and you just I tried to do my best. But I was this close and I text Lupita, I'm like, I'm not going, I'm sorry. Because she has been helping, so I didn't want to kind of let her down. So I'm like, you know what, I can't do it. And she's like, don't worry, just come. Tell her what, what you have, and, you know, she'll work out with you. And because of that, I did stay.
Because for me, if there was no SI leader when I started my 250 class, I don't think I would have made it. I would have dropped out before the second essay. I would have probably bombed the first essay, didn't know what to do, and then I would have just got caught up or something and probably dropped out.
As far as my English class, like this semester, there's a ton of work, a ton of assignments, a ton of reading. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't think I would be able to pass without Aaron's help. So I think he's really helped me get all my assignments done and like do them the right way and everything like that. I think if he wasn't there, I think a lot more kids wouldn't be passing.
My grade would be significantly lower, maybe like 2 letter grades lower than what it is now.
He actually helped a lot. This is my 3rd time taking English and I'm actually passing it. And I feel like he was a big part of that because every time I would come to the SI, it would actually like motivate me to keep going and keep trying, and like that was gonna get through it basically.
If it wasn't for that SI, I don't think I would be at a 3.9 GPA average right now as I stand before and I look to graduate this month.
I would take a couple letter grades. I feel like I'd just be mediocre in that class, you know, maybe a C. But with him, it's giving me the edge in the class. Definitely turning in some work that I look back at, I'm like, dang, I wrote that. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy how someone can help you and it actually works.
So if you care about the students, please don't take the program away. Our success depends on it.